Hope everybody's doing great. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit in this video about what to expect if you're getting ready to go to CDL school. I just wanted to talk about my experience and maybe give you guys some tips going into it. I know I was very nervous going into it and I didn't really know what to expect. I heard things from some friends of mine, and I was really scared about the whole thing. I really didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I think it would be useful. I would have liked some sort of advice before I came into it. So the first thing, I'll just talk to you a little bit about the way the class was set up. So in my particular class, this is probably how they do it through most classes, and I'm here in Washington, which is a pretty difficult state to obtain a CDL. But they started out with a week in the classroom. It was 4-10, so it was 4 days a week, 10-hour days. We started at 6 a.m., went to 4 p.m., and the first week was talking about all the rules and regulations and everything basically in the book that you have to learn for your permit. And personally, I think I could have probably done without that week, but that's the way most people feel about it. But they've got to do that because you got to get that 160 hours in. But so the first week's in the classroom, and then the next week you start out in the yard. They give you your pre-trip. You're starting to learn the whole pre-trip. Mine was 5 pages long, and so they start you out in the yard, and then by that afternoon or the next day of the second week, they get you out on the road in the truck, and then they go to a shifting range and basically go from first to seventh gear. I think they start out no gas, you just let out the clutch, go through the gears, and then they just want you to learn the shifting. The next day, well, as the days progress, they get you, once you get comfortable with the shifting, they get you out into more complicated routes. But it's a very accelerated program. You have to do your homework because you've got a lot of things to think about when you're going into it. You've got to memorize that 5-page pre-trip. You've got to memorize the shifting pattern and where all the gears are, and so you have to really pay attention to the instructor's voice. You just have to forget that you ever knew how to drive before, because it's all new information. So I had to get over the fact that I'd ever driven before, because this is a whole new experience it was all new territory for me. So I definitely had to learn a lot. And I apologize, guys. It's pouring down rain and kind of starting to snow, so the lens is getting water on it. So I apologize about that, but if you can put up with that, then you're good. Also, let me talk to you about the pre-trip. So like I said, it was a 5-page pre-trip paper, and you're going through, from starting with the air brake tests, the rest of the in-cab, and then the exterior, where you check all your fluids. You're checking your brake lines, your suspension, all the way to the back of the truck. When I did it, I actually memorized it word for word, like they told me to. When I got through the class, they said, when it came test day, the examiner said, we don't really care if you say the exact word. We just want you to know. We want to know that you know how to walk that truck. So anyway, I was a little bit overkill. I spent probably more time than anybody else at just walking the truck every single day. I did it probably 2 or 3 times a day in class, and I definitely memorized it word for word, but that was a little bit overkill. So I would recommend getting it as best you could, because it's this most small amount of room you allow for error, the better. So if you memorize that thing, you will not have any problems getting it. And I will say, if it seems overwhelming trying to memorize that whole pre-trip, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. If you've got, in my class, it was a 4-week course, and you have 3 weeks of solid training to memorize that pre-trip. So if you practice it every day, you go through it in your head like I did, you will get it down, no doubt. It's just a matter of putting in the work. When you get home, think about it in your head. What do I say for the alternator? What do I say for the suspension? All the different parts. You just have to go over it a lot of times, and I guarantee you will get it. It just takes a lot of work. And then the driving part of it actually came very well. They actually trained us harder than we needed to drive for the test day, which is good, because they train you really hard, and then you get test day, and it's actually a little bit of a relief. Yes, people fail the test, but the reason people fail is they overwork themselves, and they get pressured when they get in the seat with that examiner sitting next to them. But thankfully we had a really laid back examiner, but he was still an examiner. We still, you always have that notion, okay, he could fail you at any time. But I pulled through because I stayed calm, and not just me, my whole class did very well. We all did really well, and the school was great. But the main thing I would tell you is, when you get it on test day, is just stay calm and think about everything that you were taught over the past few weeks. So when you get into test day, it will come with ease if you just stay calm and just drive like you drove with your instructor's class. And that is really as simple as it is. And another thing about the test, let me give you a few pointers for here in Washington. You do your air brakes, say you pass all those. When you finally get out onto the road, the things you're going to want to look for, especially, is you're going to want to check your mirrors often. You go through intersections, you're checking this way, that way, in the intersection, and then you're checking your mirrors all the time. They say, my class told me every 6 seconds. For the test, it's about every 10. But they want to train you to look in your mirrors a lot. So they always say it's the bobblehead effect. You're always looking in your mirrors, and you're always aware of what's going on ahead too. You're looking behind, plus you're looking what's down the road. So they told us the kill box, that 150 feet in front of the truck is your kill box. You don't want to stare into that kill box. Yes, you want to scan the kill box, but you're also wanting to be looking 12 to 15 seconds up ahead of you. Look for brake lights as far as you can see down the road. And if you see a light that's been green for a long time, you know that it could possibly change. So those are things to be aware of. But you will be just fine on test day. Just be aware of what's going on around you. Just watch those mirrors, watch those intersections, and then of course shifting. You can't shift on the tracks. You can't shift above 6th gear in an intersection, and then you can't turn and shift at the same time. So they will teach you all of this stuff in class. I'm just kind of telling you things that I didn't know beforehand, that might have helped me to know. So I want to kind of help you guys to be prepared for school, and to help you guys know what to look for to help you guys get your CDL. Of my experience, yes, it was a very intense class, but if you pay attention to the instructors and you do your homework at home, you will be guaranteed to pass. And especially another big thing is on test day, just stay calm. Just treat your examiner like he's one of your instructors. My school did not use the same instructors to test you. They brought in a third-party tester, but I was able to stay calm on test day, and that is really what made the difference for me. And in fact, everybody in my class that was from Washington and was able to pass with me. So it turned out really well. The school was great, but you will be fine if you do your homework, you pay attention to the instructors. It might seem overwhelming at first, but you have 3 weeks of solid driving every day, and that is what it takes to get